It is now time for our final award of the morning. I am honored to introduce Burt Schraga as this year's Arthur W. Hooper Achievement Award recipient. Burt started working at Bell Electric Supply in 1968 in a part-time accounting position while he was still in college. After college, after graduating, he worked in sales for a few years, but eventually returned to Bell and bought the company. Burt retired as president and CEO of Bell Electric Supply at the end of 2017. He has also been an active member of NAED for decades, and he has served in numerous roles, including Western Region Vice President, member of the NAED PAC Committee, and as our chair during one of the most challenging times in our industry's history. Burt's contributions to the industry and his impact and service to the NAED have been significant. Burt, congratulations on being the 2018 Arthur W. Hooper Award recipient.
Thank you, George and Dan. Good morning. Don't worry about your competition, worry about yourself. I'm going to repeat that. Don't worry about your competition, worry about yourself. I graduated from college with a degree in finance, and my first job was selling Vaseline. I got tired of being transferred from one new job to the next, so I went back to my college employer, Bell Electrical, and bought the company with my original partner. We attended our first NAED zone meeting when I was 25 years old. Tyke Lehman of Electrical Distributors, a giant in the industry, told me, "Don't worry about your competition, worry about yourself." Thank you, Tyke, for that advice. It has really served me well. I remember getting a phone call from Bob Polito of Buckle-Smith years ago. He said, "Burt, I understand you have our customer list." "Yes, I do, Bob, but it's 4 years old, and I'd really like a new one. So if you'll print me yours, I'll print you mine." It never happened. So we started going to regional meetings, cocktail parties, tennis, swimming pools, my type of meeting. But I was finally challenged by Raf Raffo. Raf said, "When are you going to give something back to the industry?" Thank you for that, Rab. I became area chairman, then VP of the West. But I was tired of speakers talking about the internet, so I asked the NAED board if I could get a motivational speaker. They said no, so I cut $100,000 out of the budget, and they let me spend $25,000. Our first original motivational speaker was Eric Weidenmeyer, the first man to climb Mount Everest blind. So when the two of us had practiced the morning of the opening session, Eric sat down in the front row with his guide dog. I introduced him. So he said to his dog, "Stairs." The dog took him to the stairs. He said to the dog, "Podium." The dog walked him up the podium. He came over to me, shook my hand, and he said, "Don't worry. If the dog falls asleep, it's okay. He's heard this 50 times. Lots of tears and laughs when we heard Eric speak. So then I get a call from Tammy Miller. Tammy asked if I would like to be NAED chairman. Remember, it's a 3-year commitment. I said, "Let me check with my business partner, David Wallen, and my wife, Karen." Well, they said, "Okay, and I want to thank David and Karen for your support over those 3 years." So I'm chairman during the Great Recession. So here come the budget cuts. It's so bad that even Hubble cancels their cocktail party. No more cookbooks. So between NAED staff, Dan Dungan, and who was the finance chair, we were able to cut the budget 30%. That was $3 million, and we came in on budget. So now it's time for my introduction here in Chicago as the NAED chairman. It's an evening event. I'm at the opening cocktail party sipping a club soda. Gary Arnott and Todd Gilmore from GE walked up to me and said, "What are you drinking?" "Well, I'm drinking club soda." "Burt, we've known you for a long time, but never with a club soda." I said, "Well, I don't want to slur my words." Gary said, "You know what everybody in the audience is thinking when you're up stage speaking? I'm glad I'm not up there." Thanks, Gary. I was told to make this short and sweet, say some thanks, and get out. I want to thank everyone that dropped me a note, gave me a call, shook my hand for this great honor, the Arthur W. Hooper Award. I want to thank Bob Murphy, John Spohr, Tammy Miller, Jack Henderson, Dan Dungan, and my partner David Wallen for the nice things they said to me in the TED Magazine article. This is truly the highlight of my 45 years in this great industry. Most of all, I want to thank my friend and business partner David Wallen for his support and the way he has grown the business. I retired at the end of the year, although some would say I retired 10 years ago. David is buying me out and is now CEO. I will remain chairman until he gets tired of me. And I must not forget and thank the staff. What great support and guidance they gave me during my 3 years. And I better not forget to thank my wife, Karen, who never missed one NAED meeting over the last 20 years. I've made many great friends over the 45 years in the industry. I vacationed with 3 competitors. I've fished with many members and vendors. In fact, Dan Duncan and I bunked together a couple of times up at Trout Lake, and he reminded me that I asked him if he would sometime like to be chair. He never answered, but I think he's done a pretty good job, don't you? Karen and I love traveling, and speaking of friends, we are going on another cruise this summer with Jack and Belinda Henderson. So as I sail off into the sunset, remember, don't worry about your competition, worry about yourself. Thank you.